Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of the Witching Hours. As you all know, I'm Medium Jenny Lee, and with me is my co-host, Gina the Frost. Woo! And we have back our very special guest, Charity from Aquarius Rising Tarot.
Hello.
Yay! We got a good crew in here already. Salty Frog, Rose Flower, Little Wing. Yay! Yes, we're festive here. Got the Santa stuff going on. Where is Frost Giant's Santa hat? What? He doesn't have his Santa hat on. This is a
I don't have any Christmas
travesty.
stuff.
This is a travesty. Oh, he's gonna go find it now. We have Santa hats everywhere in this house, so he's got to be able to find one. Oh, there we go. Oh, goodness. All right, so tonight we have an interesting show for you. We're going to be talking ghost stories again, which Frostine is going to tell us all about why we're talking about ghost stories on Christmas time. But we're also going to be doing some predictions for 2020. Some general predictions for everybody, and probably for a couple lucky viewers. We'll figure out how we're going to do it when we get there. We might be doing some teamwork tarot reading this evening for some predictions for some lucky viewers. But first, as always, it's time for the paranormal news.
All right, so we got a lot of space stuff today. The first news story we have today is well, first off, does everybody know what a tardigrade is? That's like something that popped up not that long ago.
Tardigrade?
That little microscopic animal that looks like a little bear.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, frozen tardigrade has become the first quantum entangled animal in history. Researchers claim so. Um,
This is hurting my brain already.
Researchers have exposed tardigrades to the coldest temperature and highest pressures, and they've been able to survive almost. They're extremophile; they can live in any environment. Um,
So they've been torturing
but
tardigrades?
yeah,
Poor
but
things.
also they want to see whether a frozen tardigrade could be incorporated into two quantum entangled electric circuits and then later revived to its normal active state. And the results reported in a newspaper published so suggests that yes, scientists may be able to add temporary quantum entanglement to the tardigrade's growing list of accomplishments. However, early responses to the paper have taken issue with the findings. So they're still kind of figuring out the whole issue about whether they were able to successfully quantum entangle a little tardigrade.
Little Wing said she was reading about this too. I'm
Okay, yeah.
still confused. So what exactly does that mean to be quantum entangled?
Well, I know. Well, we're getting above my degree level here, or in my field, but I know the basic idea of if quantum entanglement, if I'm not mistaken, is the fact that like quantum particles being able to communicate uh, like across vast distances of the universe. So like it's almost like binary, like something's a one and something's a zero.
Okay.
If a particle, say at Earth, turned to a one, and there was a particle that it was entangled with on the other side of the universe that was a one, it would automatically switch to a zero, like in an instant, even though there were light years,
Okay.
maybe thousands of light years apart. That quantum entanglement connects a scenario where um, if something's red, the other one has to turn blue. If something's one, it has to be
Mm-hmm.
a zero. Like they're able to communicate. They're entangled at a quantum level. Maybe one day we can have somebody to come on and explain that a little bit better than me.
I think that that's how psychic and medium people communicate.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're just starting to figure it out scientifically, and I can understand it way better in the woo-woo world than I can when they explain it scientifically.
Uh, Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. All this quantum, I think all this quantum entanglement stuff is something that could lead to more advanced science, understanding of the universe,
Hmm,
and maybe understanding of some of the paranormal, right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Second story for tonight is DARPA. Uh, Maybe Fumbi knows who DARPA is.
Didn't we
Defense
talk about?
Advanced.
Oh yeah, didn't we talk about them last time a little bit? Because I
Did we?
remember that stupid name.
Yeah, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Um, may have accident. Did I talk about this before? They may have accidentally discovered how to build a warp drive engine.
Yes, I think we did
Oh.
talk about that, didn't we? Or no? That's different.
Yeah,
Keep going.
yeah. I didn't think we had talked about that one.
No, might be something different.
So, well, Harold White, a NASA researcher at Eagle Works Laboratory in Houston, published a research paper with his team about a possible structure of energy density present in Casimir cavity. Basically, what comes along from this story is that they were doing a scientific experiment, and the byproduct of this experiment might have shown them how to create a warp bubble to travel faster than light speed. And they don't really know exactly what they found, but it's led them down a rabbit hole they can chase now to try to create um,
Maybe me
warp
and you were
bubbles
talking
for
about
interstellar
this.
travel.
Maybe we were talking about it
Yeah,
individually.
essentially being able to punch a hole instead of traveling from point A to point B, it's folding things, and then making point A and B come together,
Hmm.
making space behind you longer and space in front of you shorter is what they can achieve through the warp bubble. So you can decrease time and travel based on.
Oh,
Let's
that's
do it.
cool. That's like Star Trek stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
let's get on it. Probably should have had this already. It's 2022 almost.
uh, Report from Tuesday, December 21st, which was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Venus may have alien life forms in its clouds.
What?
So scientists think that the origins of the ammonia in the atmosphere of Venus could be biological, despite the planet being so hot that it's believed any life would struggle to survive there.
Hmm.
There's a lot of acidity in Venus's atmosphere, but they think that we found, of course, extremophiles on Earth that can live in high acid environments.
I've been saying this for
And
years.
and so the fact that they're finding this ammonia in the atmosphere, they don't have an explanation from where that's coming from, the traces of ammonia. And so they think that it might be the byproduct of some kind of bacterial life or something that could be living in the atmosphere of Venus.
Interesting. So basically, it's like alien bacteria poop.
Yeah, yeah. Which they've had some other theories on other
Yeah.
places they found where they find certain.
We've detected alien poop in the atmosphere of
Yeah.
Venus yesterday. So, Salty Frog has donated 18,000 channel points to the 30-minute video tarot giveaway, which we should be getting very close to the goal for that, because I think last Friday we were at like 96% or something.
Yeah, we're very, very close.
It could be tonight. Whoever
Um,
might be somebody's Christmas gift.
yeah, yeah. And the last article I have for tonight is the James Webb Space Telescope. Have you heard about that one, Jenny?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean,
All
I
right.
mean,
So
I might have seen it on something at some point.
the James Webb Space Telescope is planned to launch on Christmas Day, and it is going to be the successor to the Hubble Space Telescope.
wow.
The successor to the Hubble Space Telescope. Oh my
Yeah.
God, we just hit the 100%. Little Wing and
There we
Fumbi
go.
gave up the last points we needed. Oh my God, we did it!
Yay.
Yay! So, okay, tell us about that while I get my wheel of names ready here.
Well, I mean, it's a very advanced. Then it's very far advanced from the Hubble Space Telescope. They've been working on it. I think it said since 1996. Um, it's designed to capture infrared light from the first stars and galaxies to form in the aftermath of the Big Bang some 13.8 billion years ago. So this telescope is going to be able to look the farthest away we've been able to look. It's going to be able to look so far into space that it's going to see, going back in time, the beginning of the universe, possibly. The first stars formed.
Wow.
In the universe.
Wow.
I've heard rumors too about it being able to possibly be able to look at more atmosphere kind of stuff and distant planets and stuff like that to be able to possibly look for life as well. So definitely maybe a new dawn. I know the Hubble Space Telescope was like a huge thing for our lifetimes in terms of being able to see what's in space, and so hopefully this is the 2.0 of that. That's what it's supposed to be.
Exciting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And that's the news today.
The news. Yay. Okay, so I'm not sure how to do the tarot video giveaway because usually I would put in my subs, but we're doing something completely different this evening. So I think I was just going to put whoever's in the users in the chat. Does that sound fair to everybody?
Yeah, or just have everybody like press in one or something like that, and then we can just go through the list and create
that
them.
sounds good. So, if you are watching and you would like to be entered into the tarot video giveaway, why don't you just put an emote in? Send me an emote in the chat, and I'll make sure your name's in the giveaway wheel here, and then we'll see who won. All right. So, emote away, people. You have a task. You're being tasked. If you want to win this video, it's a 30-minute tarot video giveaway. Put your name in the chat. We shall see who wins. While we're waiting,
I don't know how you want to do it. We could just let this kind of wait a little while and simmer and get more people added as the thing goes along.
That's
and
what
then
I was going to do
towards the end. Yeah.
So while we're waiting for everybody to put in whether they'd like to be entered into the chat, to the winnings, the giveaway, Frost Giant, why don't you tell us about why in the world we would be talking about ghost stories at Christmas time?
Well, I am, for people who don't know, I'm a Christmas fanatic. I'm one of the crazy Christmas people. So when we were talking about doing a Christmas episode for the Witching Hour, we were trying to come up with an idea. We were talking about this. One of the original traditions of Christmas or Yule or winter solstice celebrations, Saturnalia, whatever the origins of the holiday are itself. One of the most ancient traditions was telling ghost stories, which makes a lot of sense. It's the darkest night of the year. For ancient peoples, that was a scary time of the year. That the last harvest was over. They had to make it through the cold winter. They had to deal with all the scary spirits that were out in the woods that were coming to get them. And so around the fires during the winter solstice, it became popular to tell ghost stories. And that went all the way up through even the invention of Christmas and all the way to what we kind of owe our modern celebrations of Christmas to with Charles Dickens and his Christmas Carol, which is also still a Christmas ghost story. So,
trick question: how many ghosts are in Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol?
Is that for me?
Anybody? How many ghosts?
4.
Yes, because it's not just past, present, and future. It's good old Marley.
Yes.
The fourth one. Yeah.
So we thought Christmas stories would be a
You mean ghost
Christmas ghost stories would be a good way to do our show tonight.
Which some of them
I'm
might be
imbibing in my eggnog, so I'm having to get my eggnog mustache slaps here.
You don't want to look gross while you're drinking.
Talking. Yeah, and those go back. Those ghost stories go all the way back to Yule and the Wild Hunt, and hearing the wind kind of whip through the leafless trees and
Sure,
scary
wolves
times.
howling and
Yeah,
God knows what else in the
yeah,
darkness of the woods.
the darkness, and that's where our the whole celebration of lights, putting out lights and stuff like that have come from. So um, I'm a firm believer that Christmas can be a lot of different things to different people, um, but there are a lot of different origins. So it's interesting to look into how those were started and to kind of bring some of those traditions back for this evening.
Which Charity has lots of ghost stories that she has shared some of them with me. Before we get started on Charity sharing a ghost story with us, we have hit the channel point challenge, and we are getting ready to see who is going to be a winner for the 30-minute tarot video giveaway. But right now, I think I only have 3 people that have put their name in the hat. Who else would like to be entered into this giveaway? If you want to be entered into the giveaway, please send me an emote in the chat. I know that you're out there and you're watching and you're like, should I? I don't even know what this is. What am I entering? Just do it. Just do it. All right. So while we rack up some more people for the giveaway, go ahead, Charity. Let's see. Share one of your ghost stories with us.
Well, I was thinking since you were talking about winter and ice and the coldest season, one that I hadn't mentioned, and it was one that kind of freaked me out, but it was more like I told myself it was a trick of the light, you know. But I was laying in bed and I had this apartment where my bedroom was in the front room and I had this door and it had a window in it. And I was, you know, how when you're just kind of waking up and you see things, might not be there, might be there, you're in that half dream state, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up and there was a woman looking in my window, like my
Oh my
front
God.
window. But it was like she was like black and white. It was like looking at like a black and white movie. It freaked me
That's so
out. And I was
weird.
like, what is wrong? What is going on? And I start to get up to go to the door and then she's gone. But there was all this frost in the window, you know?
Yeah.
And I just told myself the frost must have looked like a face, must have looked, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but whenever I think of a ghost, I always remember, like, I swear, like that woman like looked right in the window at me. But I thought of that because I was thinking of frost and winter, and
Yeah.
I told myself it was the light on the frost looked like a face. Wasn't a woman from an old Hollywood movie looking in my
Yeah.
window, but you know, since I've had a female ghost show up a couple other times, I don't know, I might have somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really easy for us to talk ourselves out of those things, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially faces, because our brains are trained to see faces and everything.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, I know that not that long ago you saw a lady in your kitchen, correct?
Yes. Was really that was the most specific because every other one I've ever seen, it's like I think I told you when I had this one apartment and we'd see a few of us saw her like a ghost going down the hall. And
Oh no, I think she froze up a little bit. Oh. I think she's getting ready to say in white. Why are all the ghost ladies always wearing white? It's like all of them. Oh, I hear her for a second. Oh no. She'll unfreeze. It'll just take. She'll
We
come
hope.
back. She'll come back in a second.
I
I
just threw
froze.
up a poll. So I just threw up a poll. Has anything spooky happened to you during
During
Christmas
Christmas
time?
time. Hmm. Might have to
Just
think about
wondering
that
if Christmas time does that actually have any bearing?
on
And
spooky stuff.
there's a lot of stuff usually going on with this time of year more than any other time of year. So I'm
Okay.
curious if that results in
I
anything.
think she might be unfrozen.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm frozen on my camera.
Oh
I mean,
no.
not on my camera, but on the video. Am I back?
I think
Oh,
so.
I'm back.
Yes. So you were saying you had seen a woman going up and down the hallway, and I swear you were getting ready to say that she was dressed in white.
Yes, yeah, she was. That wasn't the one that I just saw in November, but it was the way that I've always seen ghosts or like glimpses, flashes, tail end, I've never seen a full person standing there. So on November 2nd, I was in my kitchen doing the dishes, and I saw my daughter standing behind me over my shoulder, and I turned around. Am I frozen again? No, I'm
No,
okay.
you're good.
Okay. I turned around and I saw a woman, obviously not my daughter. She was in like gray. So it wasn't white this time, it was gray. And then she disappeared like right before my eyes. But
Wow.
it was creepy. It was a little like the way you see people like in horror movies when they're kind of standing there with their arms at their
Oh,
side, kind of looking at it.
yeah.
Freaked me out. For like 2 days, I took my flashlight with my phone with me every time I walked through
Yeah.
the kitchen, but it didn't feel like bad or negative or anything like that. But that's just not something you expect
Yeah. When
to
it's an
see. Because
unexpected thing, it can
yeah,
be
I thought somebody
creepy.
was there. I was
Yeah.
turning around to be like, ask my daughter, because that's the closest thing to a woman in
Hmm.
my house.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need? What do you want? Do you want pizza? And it was like all of a sudden, like there was somebody there, and then they were not. And
Wow.
it was really, and then I wanted to tell myself because it almost looked like they were wearing like a gray sweatshirt, and there was like a gray sweatshirt thrown over the chair. And I was like, did I just see that out of the corner of my eye and just make up and
Oh yeah.
imagine somebody was there,
No, that's a
And
lot different than frost in the window.
yeah, yeah, it was somebody really. I didn't tell anybody in my family. I didn't want to freak
Yeah.
out. Like,
I bet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Your
And it was
daughter.
weird because after that, 2 days later, we had to move out of the house for about a month because of stuff that had happened. And it was very strange. I almost wondered if I was like chased out for a minute,
Yeah.
like I was meant to go for a minute. I don't know, like a reset or something. I don't know. Too many women in the house.
That's interesting. And your house
Mm.
is kind of old too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So where I live, the whole town is about 180 to 200 years old. And my house has been rebuilt, but it is a very, very old house. There's a lot of history. When I first moved in here, I started saying all these old lady words, like grandma words that I never said. And the kids were like, "Why are you using those words? Why are you saying like I wish I remembered what they were, but
Yeah.
whoopsie daisies and
Oh,
things like that."
whoopsie daisy.
It's like channeling something,
Yeah. Channeling some old lady from a long time ago with whoopsie
right?
daisy. That's funny.
Yeah, my sister's house, well, she doesn't live there now. It's an abandoned house now, but her house before she moved in, and it's also like a couple hundred years old. We had all these premonitions of the house before we ever came here or moved here. So that was kind of cool. Like, yeah.
Like what?
Um, so my sister, well, I imagined like this yellow house, and she was like, that at some point she was going to live in this yellow house. And she actually drew like a plan. She was in a house about, I don't know, about 6 miles from here. And she drew this whole floor plan, like she kind of channeled it. And then this house came up for sale. And she's like, Charity, there's this yellow house. I was like, oh, maybe that's your yellow house that I saw you in. And she went in there, and it was like the whole
It's the
floor
same
plan that
thing.
she had drawn out. Like it
Wow.
was weird. Yeah. And then I ended up living next door, completely unrelated.
It's like something's
After she moved
calling you
out,
guys there.
yeah, there's something about the area because she lived here for about 10 years and had all these kids. She had babies and stuff like in the house, and then they moved away. And then after that, nobody moved in. And now, like raccoons, we see cats in there. It's a cool house, but it's taken over by nature at this time. So
Now the raccoons have been
yeah,
called in to.
yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, then I randomly got this house right next to it, and so now I see it out this window, and it's this house that I had premonitions about, and she
Yeah,
had premonitions about. Yeah,
that's really
maybe it was my
cool.
ghost friend
It
guiding us,
might. Yeah. Just wanted somebody to live in that house, I guess.
right?
I have a story I did not share last time about actually a female ghost also.
Oh,
So for many years, I had an art studio in this very old building that used to be a department store. So this is I guess you could kind of relate it to Christmas because department stores are definitely a Christmassy thing. I'm sure they decorated for Christmas. We just watch Elf today, and they go in the gimbals,
mm.
and it's like all decked out for Christmas and stuff. So the building used to be a department store. Like my mom and her family used to go shop at that department store when she was a kid, but then it
Oh,
it got run down and closed up, and so it was an art gallery and art studios, and my mom and I had one there for many years, and we were up on the third floor. But the
Pre
fourth,
mall days. Pre mall
yeah,
days.
pre mall days, yeah, it's a department store. The fourth floor had never been renovated. It's like every time they would try to renovate it, something would happen. They could never do it. So there's a few things that would happen there. Me being sensitive, this was before I realized I was a medium, though. I could sense that there was someone there, and I knew it was female. And I remember one time working out in the hallway out in front of my studio and knowing that there was a female spirit to my right, just standing
mm,
there, like watching me. And I didn't know what to do about it because it was kind of freaking me out. But at the same time, like I didn't feel like she was, she was just hanging out. She was just seeing what I was doing. But it would, if you were there by yourself, you could get a little creeped out, especially if
mm.
you were there by yourself at nighttime. So one of the things that would happen was the elevator. There was an elevator that was like the original elevator. And to get to the fourth floor, you had to have a key to get to the fourth floor. You couldn't just go to the fourth floor in the elevator. Well, sometimes if you were there, you would hear the elevator ding, and it was coming down from the fourth floor.
Ooh,
And the doors would open, and there would be nobody in the elevator. It was empty. That would happen quite often. So,
wow.
how is it coming down if there's nobody in it to make it come down? And it had to have a key to get up there in the first place. And then this other
Yeah, that
time,
one was creepy.
Yeah.
this other time, my son and I were doing, we were interested in ghost hunting. And because like ghost hunters was like a big thing at that time. And he was little, he was maybe like 5 or something. And we had my phone and it had a little app on it. We could record stuff trying to get EVPs. And we were standing on the stairs from the third floor to the fourth floor. And we were asking if anybody was there and, could they make a noise? So then we hear a noise and we're like, oh God, like it's coming from the fourth floor. There's not supposed to be anybody up there. So then I ask, can you do that again? And instead of a noise, was a woman's voice that we heard with our ears. And it was right in front of us, but it was a whisper. And she said, yes. And the only way I can explain it, it's like if someone was trying to talk to you through something, like a wall, or
Mm.
it's like it had to travel a distance. And we both we're like, oh my God, did you hear that? Ah! Like we started freaking out. And of course, as soon as we finally had something happen, people came in, like living people, and we're like, damn it. Like this lady's talking to us. We can hear her. And now we have to stop.
Aw.
But I lost that EVP because it was on some crappy app. But it was something I'll never forget. It's really cool. So we have the
So
results of
our
our poll.
poll just ended. Oh, yeah, one said something spooky did happen, and four said no. I put the link to the Discord in there because if you, it's kind of difficult maybe to tell a whole story in chat.
There we go.
Oh,
Salty's
well, there
got
we
it.
go. We have one up there. Excellent.
So Salty said, when my daughter was a kid, she got a talking stuffed animal for Christmas. When
Oh.
she opened it, there wasn't any batteries included. So I told her we would go get some batteries for it after Christmas. Well, that sucker started talking in the middle of the night. No batteries. I put it outside in the shed because I couldn't get rid of it due to who gifted it to her. Holy crap.
Mm.
You got
Whoa.
gifted.
I'm Chucky. Want to play?
Yeah. Got gifted a possessed doll for Christmas. Merry Christmas.
God.
Wow, Salty, that's crazy. That's a great story. I'm sorry. I hope you did something with it eventually.
Yeah, that's just a question I kind of had, that I was thinking about. We talked about the, the Christmas scary stories, but if you just think about how much you think about, I would think that a lot of people think about family more during this time of year. I would think that a lot of people
Mhm.
probably have more memories from people who have passed
Oh,
on this
yeah.
time of the year because of all the keepsakes and stuff like that that kind
Yeah,
of get passed around for
the
Christmas.
nostalgia. Yeah.
Yeah, the nostalgia for it. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
just wondered if that would lead to more paranormal activity or not.
Hmm.
According to
It
our
makes
poll,
sense to me.
not necessarily.
It was a stuffed animal, but it freaked you out. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be freaked out too.
It got left in the shed when you moved.
Kids'
Oh,
toys.
so it became somebody else's problem.
Uh, yeah, we've had some instances with toys ourselves. Kids' toys, and that's always like a horror movie cliche.
Hmm.
But we've had like toys go off, in the middle of the living room, like when the kids were in bed, like for no apparent reason. And it is
Yeah.
very
Yeah, I've
creepy.
had that too. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, please, please,
Mm.
don't
Well, I'll
be.
have some that'll break and they won't work forever, and the kid's disappointed, and the toy is still around. And then one day, like it's like a little cat or something, you hear like, meow.
Like,
This has been broken for 3 months
yeah.
and nobody's touching it right now. Like, why is this happening?
No, you can't do this. All right, I think we have a few extra people that have joined. People, listen up, people. We have gotten to the tarot video giveaway. The challenge has been completed. You guys donated all the channel points that we needed, 100,000 channel points. And I'm ready to give this sucker away. But as of right now, I only have 3 people that have put in that they want to win it. There has to be more people that want to win this giveaway. So if you want to win this giveaway, I'm looking at you people. You see me? I'm begging you. Put an emote in the chat, and I will put your name in the wheel. And then we'll spin the wheel, and we'll see who gets the video. And it'll be a lovely Christmas present for you. So do it. What are you waiting for?
Put it in the wheel of time.
The Wheel of Names. So, speaking of electronics going off when they're not supposed to, Frost Giant, I think you need to share your story from this morning.
I I have I have an old Darth Vader alarm clock
It's really
that
not
I
that old.
received as a gift. Well, for me it is. That I received as a Christmas gift over 10 years ago. So
Yeah,
it's not.
maybe.
It's 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 pretty old. I think it was before my army days that I got it. Um, so I don't really use my alarm clock anymore. Just the way with the family that we have to get up in the morning, like other people are up kind of before me, so I just kind of fall into the line there. So I don't use my alarm clock very often. Um, and so it's never turned on. But this morning, we started our first day of Christmas vacation today.
Which
So it
means
was our
that we could
first day
sleep
to
in.
sleep in. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, my alarm clock went off. Um, I know for a fact,
What?
100% fact, that I did not turn on the alarm clock last night. and it wasn't left on from the day before because,
Because he never
as I
uses
stated
it.
previously, I don't use
Oh
it.
my gosh.
But Jenny mentioned to me this morning that that almost always happens when we start a vacation or like when we start our summer break.
It
Usually
happens
the first
all
morning that
the
we sleep
time.
in.
Your clock is excited about the
So we think that someone's playing a trick on me.
Yes.
break.
I think there's no other explanation for this because it's not like it randomly goes off any other time. It's only when
So weird.
we have a break where we know we can sleep in or something like that. That's the only times it happens. So I have a theory that some relative of Frost Giants who's a prankster likes to
Mhm.
turn his alarm clock off when they know that this is the first morning that we get to sleep in on a break.
I had a grandfather who loved to get up at like 4:30 in the morning and drink coffee. So I have a feeling there might be someone trying to wake me up to go drink coffee in the
Yeah.
morning.
Which if
Hmm.
he used to get up at 4:30, then 6 o'clock means you already slept
Oh, you were
Yeah.
like sleeping
in.
the day away if you slept in past 6. Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, because I mean, what else? What other explanation is there? It's not going off any other time. It's not like it's broken. It's not like we just all of a sudden hear it going off at like 8 o'clock at night or something. Like I don't know.
It's only
Yeah,
vacation.
it's a
Yeah.
ghost clock now. That used to be a Christmas gift, or it was a Christmas gift. So there you go, tying
Oh,
it all
yeah.
together.
Christmas. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, what's happened? Oh, you gifted a sub to Pega.
Merry
Oh,
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Gifting, gifting things. All right. Okay. I'm going to say it again. If you want to be entered into the tarot giveaway, put your name in the bucket by putting in an emoji. So far, I have Charity, Rose Flower, and Salty Frog. That's it. Who else? It's got to be somebody. People, you guys donated. You donated points. Don't you want to win it? Or even if you're just here to listen, maybe you're not usually a tarot person. Could be a very special gift for you this evening. All
We
right.
are going to be doing some readings tonight as well, some
Yeah, a
different
couple.
readings.
Yes.
One night I'm going to do a tarot reading for somebody. That way they can just get it completely not.
And you might be surprised. You might
Yeah.
know all kinds of stuff you don't
whoever gets the low, yeah.
You drew the short straw. Frost Giant's going to give you
They'll
a
go
tarot
away
reading.
people who aren't a sub. Yeah.
No, your tarot readings have been pretty good.
Yeah, they've gone okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Charity, I
I
know
wouldn't say
that
for
you
mine, but
mentioned before that you also know some ghost stories from Mexico.
Yeah, I meant to kind
oh,
of brush up. I should just bring Jesus in here to tell them. There's I know one specifically that was really fascinating, but he just tells it so well. Because obviously he was there.
Yeah.
But there he and his uncle, they were out by a fire, having a beer, and up in the tree they heard some noise, like some cackling, some laughing. It was a really high tree, like really high tree. And they looked up in the tree, and two witches, straight up, flew off like on brooms. And the tree was so high, there was no way anyone can climb it, no way anything. But the way he told the story literally took 15 minutes. He told it so witches
hmm.
What?
actually, he heard cackling. They were like, what is that? They thought they saw women, and then literally saw two women fly
Fly.
away.
He might he might
So
have to tell that story to me personally one day because witches
yeah.
The witch is like that's like my scariest thing ever. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah, he tells it well. You know, he doesn't tell like the ghost stories until we get around like a fire and then we've sat around in the dark for a couple hours and then the ghost stories just start coming. I should just get out a recorder.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
kinds of shit in Mexico. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
I've
that's
seen
fine.
all kinds of stuff in Mexico.
Uh,
Salty Frog said bruja.
Bruja,
Bruja.
exactamente.
Wow, that's crazy. Some
Yeah, I
Mexican
did think of it.
witches.
Um, I thought of another one when you were telling the story of the old building, and I hadn't thought about it in years because I worked in the Union Terminal in Cincinnati. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's been turned into a big museum, but it used to be a train station.
Okay, yeah. Hmm.
So there's all these stories there, and I worked security, so we would have to go through all these back rooms and all these unused rooms and everything, and they would try to freak us out by telling us stories and stuff. But there was one time I would go in. If I was the first person in the morning, I had to turn on all the light switches for like all the exhibits, and there was a hall, a really, really long hall, and there was probably 200 light switches. And you
Wow.
would go in, and it would be dark as you were getting going, and you had to turn all these light switches on. And I was in this hall, and I was always by myself, and it was just one of those things. And I was working security, and I knew where everybody was in the building, so there was only like 4 or 6 people in the building at the time. And I heard like footsteps behind me.
Oh,
And I like looked back, there was nothing there, like nothing there. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep turning on the lights. And I heard it again. And I'm like, somebody is messing with me. I look and it's just a totally clear hall. Like you can see all the way down the hall,
yeah.
all the way down the back, all the way down the front. There's no way anyone can be in there. And I start going again and I hear it. And I just started like running and flipping the switches. And then I could hear it like, and I don't know if it was echoing from me, and then right at the end, I got to like the very end of the hall. And I don't even know if I turned on like the last few lights. I was getting out of there. And I went out and I shut the door and I looked and there was like a shadow in the room, but there was nobody, like
Mm,
nobody there.
wow.
So that was a very
mm,
interactive ghost experience. To scare
Yeah,
the heck out.
it's
wow.
not like anybody could hide anywhere. It's just a
There
long
was no
hallway.
place.
Yeah,
I don't know if there was like a corridor next to it and somebody was messing with me, but I knew the building. I
yeah.
could even actually see blueprints of the whole city. They had them all there at the Union Terminal.
That's cool.
And yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool place to work. But there were so many ghost stories at that place, like
I
tons.
bet.
And
The
That
train
yeah.
kind of
station.
reminds me of a story. Maybe I'll share it too in a second. Um, but I wanted to say one thing too about the last story you told in the witch thing. So that is my one of my first earliest memories was having nightmares about a witch that would chase me around my neighborhood,
Oh my gosh.
like riding a broom, like with the hat and all that stuff. And ever since then, the witch has been like my
That's
source of heebie-jeebies.
And
Uh,
then he married
so
one, so I don't know what that was all
yeah.
about.
Well,
yeah.
I'm like
Yeah,
a
now you're hanging out with
I'm
two of them.
attracted to the yeah. It's like it's been like this thing that I've kind of
Oh my
that's
gosh. I'll
intrigued
have to
me
get
my
all the
whole life.
details for you then.
Um, but your last story reminded me of one, and mine's not necessarily a ghost story, but I guess it is kind of a scary story. And that is when I was young, I was working in Richmond, Virginia, and I was working at a place called the Riverfront Plaza. Or no, this one was at the Richmond Times Dispatch. That was Richmond Times Dispatch is where I was working. So it was the newspaper, the big newspaper in Richmond. And I worked graveyard shift. So I would go in at like midnight and get off at 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And one of the jobs I had to do was there was like this huge building that I had to work at, and then there were also like these other buildings around Richmond in that block that they were on that they also owned, and that people would work in. And so what you had to do, like being a security guard, was you had like this little wand stick thing that you had, and you would walk around to different part of the buildings, and you would go into each room, and there'd be like a little chip on the wall, and you would push that little wand into the chip, and then it would like save like a date of time saying that you were there at such and such a time. That way you could prove that you had done your security rounds. So, of course, being the high quality worker that I am, a lot of times, like, there'd be a chip in the room, and I would just like put my arm in the door and like stamp the chip, and then like close the door because you have to make them in a certain amount of time, so you're trying to cut corners or whatever. And this is all about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's gone home. You're there. Maybe two other security guards that are working with you are back in like the control room or whatever. So one night, I happened to be training a new guy. It was his first night, so I was showing him how to do the rounds properly. So we went into this one building where they ended up with doing a morning radio show in that building. But when you got up to like the third or fourth floor of it, you had to go out onto the roof, and the button was on the other side of the door. So typically, I wouldn't go out on the. You're supposed to go out on the roof and like look all over the roof, but I would just open that door, hit the button, and go back in. But since I wanted to show him how to do it right, we went out onto the roof and we walked all the way up to the kind of the edge of the building there, and we were kind of taking in the city skyline, the best we could. And I looked up into the sky, and there was a blue boomerang shape that looked like a flame, but it was shaped like a boomerang, and it was sitting perfectly still in the sky. And I think as soon as I saw it, it freaked me out. I looked down at the guy I was training, and he was watching it also, and he kind of like looked at me and was like, we didn't say anything, but the expression was kind of like, "What's that?" And we sat there and looked at it, and it stayed there for probably another manner of seconds. I mean, it was just sitting in the sky, like not moving, and then all of a sudden, like a flash of light, it just took off and was gone. And we just kind
Whoa.
of both looked at each other, and like I think I might have said like, "Man, that was weird" or something like that, and like we didn't say anything else about it. We went back in the building and finished our things. But to this day, still have no clue what I saw that night
Wow.
because it wasn't like UFO shaped. It wasn't like a saucer or something like that. It looked like a blue flame, but it was a boomerang. But it wasn't moving. It was sitting still in the sky,
Oh my God.
and then it took off like super fast. So,
Because you saw it. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
out of here.
yeah. So that's, but having to go around those empty buildings and stuff like that kind of
Mm.
reminded me of
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny we were both security guards.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you're probably more fitting for I'm like 5'2".
Well, you're the light turner on her. They just
Yeah,
send you to
I
turn
flip
the
on the
lights
lights. I
on.
answer phone calls. Yeah.
All right, people. This is your last chance. Put your name in the bucket. I'm getting ready to do the wheel of names. If you want to win the 30-minute tarot video giveaway, last call. Last call. All right. Let me oops. trying to do something here. It ain't something in too well. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. But then I need to make this window like super big. Okay, here we go. Let me know if anybody puts their name in there before I spin this wheel. Has anybody added their name yet? All right.
Not that I can see.
All right, I'm gonna spin it. Ah, rose flower! Yay! Woo! Rose flower. I
Yay,
mean,
congrats to Rose Flower.
both rose flower and salty frog, both would be very deserving of this reading. I'm very happy Rose Flower got it, and Salty Frog, you would have also been a fantastic read. But Rose got it!
You are
Yay!
in for a treat. Jenny's readings are amazing.
I'm so excited. Rose Flower won. So now I gotta do the 30-minute tarot video giveaway for her. Rose Flower, are you still even in here? Do you know that you won? Are you present? Yay, you are! So, Rose Flower, this is what you have to do for me now. either in the whisper on Twitch or send me an email. Let me know some things that you would like for me to read for you. Any kind of specific questions you want to know about. I feel like the more specific the questions are, the better reading I can do for you. So whisper it to me in Twitch or send me an email at widowphoto. That's not the right thing. That is one of my emails. mediumjennylee@gmail.com. And let me know what you want me to read for you, and I will be making that for you probably within the week. Yay! Now we'll have to start a new challenge.
Excellent.
A new
Yeah,
challenge
that's
for
very good.
next time. Wonderful. Okay, so I think it might be time to move on to the predictions. Before we do that, why don't we do a little mini reading together? So I think since Salty Frog and Roseflower were the two people to put their name in the bucket, and Rose got the tarot video giveaway challenge, why don't we do a little reading for Salty Frog? I think that would be a good runner-up. So Charity, I was just thinking a little personal predictions for 2022. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
So we're focusing on Salty Frog. Salty Frog, are you okay with this? I know you are. I don't have to ask. But
Oh.
you give me the okay. Are you all right with this? We're going to team up and do a tag team tarot reading for you. Yep, she gave it a thumbs up. Okay. All right, so we're going to focus on you. See what comes up.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I had something fall out already. Did you?
Yeah, I've already had a few come out.
Oh, God. Okay. I feel like I'm supposed to have one more because I think that one might have not been correct. I mean, there usually are, no matter what. But I need something else. My hands feel really sweaty. What is happening? Like, I feel like my hands are stuck into these cards. Alright, Salty Frog. Alright, I got one more. Okay. Here we go. Alright, Charity, what'd you get?
It's very nice. I like it. I got the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Two of Cups.
Alright.
So it's going to be like good messages, surprise money coming in, a
Ew.
collaboration.
Nice.
So
I got the Page of Cups. You got a Cups, right? Didn't you get a Cups?
yeah, I have a Two of Cups.
And then
And
I
you have
got
a Page of Cups, and I have two pages.
and I have a Four of Cups.
Wow.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
cups.
more money stuff. Yeah.
And then I got the Judgment card,
Ooh.
which Charity has just done 2 videos I saw of her reading the Judgment card. And she has a really great interpretation of this card, which I think I would prefer to her to explain because I will screw it up.
It's it is a moment of transformation. It's almost like a new beginning in your life. It's almost as if you've released or wrapped up a cycle and you're being called to something new, something higher. With all these pages, there's going to be some new opportunity you're going to be making a really big decision about. Is the way I would see it. But this is when source, divine, whatever you want to call it, is bringing in something completely new, but your whole life has been kind of building up to the moment. It's very
Ooh.
powerful, transformational moment, and it's
I
very positive.
I
It's
think that for Salty, that's a really good reading because Salty's been working on a lot of her own spiritual stuff and spiritual work and
ooh,
learning Reiki and all this stuff. So I think that's like
oh wow, oh well, if
definitely.
you're thinking about starting a business, a new business, or collaborating, you're going to be very much supported with the Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and the Page of, I mean, you got the Page of Cups, right?
Yeah, I got the Page of Cups. Yep.
Yeah,
Which,
that's offers, that's opportunities, that's new beginnings, and that is study paying off. So, and with the Four of Cups, there is an unexpected message coming in. And it's almost like when you don't expect it, you might be a little bored or a little frustrated with something. And then all of a sudden, you get this offer kind of out of the sky that is very fulfilling. So, this is exciting. This I can't wait to hear how things go for you.
So Little Wing said, I would love a joint reading with y'all. Where do I sign up? I think we're going to do one more tonight, Little Wing. So why don't we do yours for the second one? And then Salty Frog said, I've been going by intuition for the past couple years. Good.
Beautiful.
I think I would like to pull a clarifier from my Zen cards because, as you all know, I know those a lot better. Charity knows the regular cards backwards and forwards, but when I pull them, I'm still like, it's a lady with a fish and a cup. I don't know.
Awesome message of creativity or love. You could have some romance, a little bit of fun with the Two of Cups there too. So, or collaboration, whatever you're up for.
She said, I was literally feeding one of my frogs when you said your hand was sticky. Oh my God. So it was your fault. I knew it was your
Oh my
fault, but I didn't know how to say it was your fault. So you just told me it was a frog. There you go. Okay. All right. I need a card. Why did we get these cards for Salty? Ah! Yes! Participation! It's exactly what she was talking about. Participation is collaborating with others. And the more you
Oh,
collaborate with other people, like collaborating with other people makes what you're trying to do way stronger than trying to do it on your own. And that's what she just said.
yeah, it's it's perfect.
That's what she just said. Bam! Yep. Working with other people, collaborating on something makes it stronger. I love it. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. We definitely got to do more of those, Jenny.
Yeah. I figured we'd get weird stuff together. Which this is totally gonna be off subject. But just to plug Charities and her readings, which if you haven't gone on YouTube to follow her yet, then there's something wrong with you. She's Aquarius Rising Tarot on YouTube, and you just watching her normal videos is great. But if you order a personal reading from her, they're like life changing. I just ordered one for my mom. It's a past life reading for my mom. She got to watch it last night. I watched it this morning, and there was one thing in it, Charity, that I just remembered because we were getting similar cards. But when you laid out that one spread, and my mom and dad had the same exact card and two of the same exact cards in the two places, it was like the star. They both had the star,
Oh
and they
yeah.
both had, I think it was one of the wands. It was like the working one, you know what
The
I'm talking
Ten of
about?
Wands. Yes.
Yes. They both had it. It was in the same spread.
Yeah.
They had the 10 of wands together and the star together. And I was like, how the hell did she do that? Like,
Isn't that crazy?
I was like, how does this happen? It was insane. So, if you should definitely, when you get a chance, go check her out
Yeah,
on YouTube.
all the readings that we've gotten and our friends have gotten, they turn into like a huge social event of
Yeah.
having to watch those videos, and
Yeah.
they're exciting and they're accurate, but they're really fun. They're
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
Your parents' reading was the most fun reading I think I've ever done.
They're very strange. I've been trying to tell everybody. I come from a very weird family. You
They're
got to
both
see it
Virgos, right?
firsthand. Yeah, they're both Virgos. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny because many of my people are Virgos.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad's is September 4th. And
Wow.
yeah. Yep.
Virgos are kind of weird. I don't
They
know
are
how
a
I feel
little bit.
about Virgos.
They're a little bit weird. Little Wing's a Virgo too.
Well, see, she doesn't strike me as a Virgo. Okay,
She doesn't.
but you're like right on the edge of Virgo,
Yeah,
so I guess I need to watch myself.
I'm the cusp of Leo and Virgo, and I kind of am a good mix of the two, I think.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to some predictions for the world. I hate to tell you all, but mine are all really depressing.
No.
Hey, Sylvie. Yes, we're doing a kind of a podcasty stream here, Sylvie. We did a ghost stories earlier, so if you missed those, go back and watch them. And then we're doing some
My
predictions
cat
now.
is meowing. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
sure.
Here, he's just going to keep going.
Oh, cool. Little Wing's gonna order a past life reading soon. Yeah, my parents'
Never
one
been
was
Virgo.
Okay.
I have so many people who
crazy.
are close to me that are Virgos, and I think
You guys can tell
Virgo
what
is
you
a
want.
weird. You know more about that than I do, Little Wing. How are Virgos and
Okay, sorry.
Geminis in terms of like their connection? Because I have a lot of Virgo friends and a lot of Virgo family, but I feel like Virgo and Gemini are very different from one another.
You're both ruled by Mercury.
Oh, okay.
A
That would
lot of mental
that would
action.
explain a lot.
Okay, so that's why there's a good connection there.
It's a very strong, very common connection. So.
Plus, I have to be intrigued by somebody to
Mhm.
I really have to. There has to be something interesting about that person for me to like be able to keep a friendship or relationship going. So that probably makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of intellect, a lot of mental communication, which is very natural. I know my daughter and my partner are Gemini and a Virgo, and they are like,
Well, that makes sense.
Salty said her daughter's a Virgo and she's a Taurus. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter
oh,
is a Taurus. Taurus is pretty good.
A Taurus and a Sagittarius.
They only get hot headed for just a tiny little bit and then they chill
A
out.
little bit. Like they can get so pissed for like a second, but then things will keep going again.
true. My niece is a Taurus.
Yeah.
Like totally blow up and then everything's fine.
Yeah,
It just happened.
I love it. Oh, Little Wing didn't realize the Mercury's thing. That's cool. Mostly food related. Oh. All right, so you guys want to hear my depressing predictions for 2022? I will tell you that after I tell you my crappy ones, that Charity's going to come in and blow you all away with her good ones. So it's like good and evil here. I get to be the evil with my Santa hat on. So my predictions for 2022 is that COVID doesn't go anywhere. We're dealing with it again. I really think I don't know how it's been everywhere else in the world, but finding supplies has become an issue, and I think that is only going to get worse. For example, when we go to our grocery store, my children need Capri Suns for their lunches. There has been no Capri Suns for like 5 months at our grocery store. It's insane. I don't think that's going to get any better. I think we're going to see that get worse.
Or I feel bad, or I'll go in there and there'll be like 2 Capri Suns.
I'm
and
like,
I'll
they're
take one of
mine!
them and I'll be like, yeah. Get away!
Start a garden.
My Capri Sun.
Yeah. Salty Frog, I cannot grow Capri Suns in the garden. Anyway, I also think that the inflation is going to cause people to have to go without. And the government doesn't care. They're like, oh, you guys can go without for whatever. But they don't realize that the poor people are already going without, and they're going to have to go without stuff they really need. Now, the middle class people will probably just have to give up some extra stuff that we don't necessarily need, but we're used to having all the time. I also think,
the little extras.
yeah, our
The
extra
vacations
stuff
and stuff like that are going to
that
have to
we're
go away.
used to having, we're going to have to give them up. I also think the weather is just going to keep getting worse. Like, we've had terrible, terrible stuff happening in the world, weather wise, and every year it gets worse. And I don't think that's going to get any better for a while. However, all this terrible crap, if you think about us as being the tower in the tarot deck, that's where we're at. We're in the tower. We're crumbling. We're falling down. But you know what happens after the tower? Charity, tell them what happens after the tower.
The star. You rise as your true self
Yes, we have to
and
let
heal.
all the crap crumble because the crap wasn't working anymore. So it has to fall. It has to fall apart so that we can build it back up and make it better.
It's so true.
So there's my depressing crap for next year. But Charity has way better stuff than me. Go for it.
Well,
We can
I
make
was
the world better for our great great
Yeah,
grandchildren.
for great grandchildren.
it's got to get better. I don't know. There's always things that change, things that surprise us, and things that come in. But I was looking a little bit at the astrology. I'm not an astrology buff. I know a lot about it, but I don't follow all the planets. But I know that for 2020 and 2021, there were a lot of crazy things happening astrology wise that astrologists had been predicting for a while that we're going to shake things up just like that tower you're talking about. But by about April 2022, a lot of that settles down. Jupiter goes into Pisces. It's very happy there. Jupiter is a planet of expansion, and things start to flow again and start to feel a little more normal. So, astrology wise, a lot of this has been predicted, but the theory is that by mid 2022, things can really we start to adjust to all these changes that we're going through right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we find new ways of doing things,
Yep.
and we end up happier. So
Mm-hmm.
let's hope.
Mhm.
Which
that,
I've
I can
kind of
see that.
seen that.
That started happening.
yeah,
Yeah, that we're fine. We, because we're humans, we adapt and we change and we overcome.
right.
So we will. We'll find. We have been, and we will continue to find the better ways to do stuff, and it will be better than it was before it fell apart.
You just
Yeah.
might have to do it without a new graphics card.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh my gosh, my son has been trying to get a graphics. Yeah, it's bad. It's
Yeah.
true.
I got lucky. I managed to find one for MSRP one day on a. But anyway, yeah, I got lucky. But people have been
That's
waiting for almost 2
incredible.
years now.
So you had also said something in your energy reading earlier this week about the numbers 222.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's actually really exciting. So we have been in a five, 2021 is a five, and fives in the tarot is, if you're familiar, are very transitional. It's kind of like when things get shaken up so you can realize what's meaningful for you. Sixes are all about success, things balancing out, people returning home after a battle, things coming together. And a 222 is a six. And so as far as a world year goes, it's kind of like we've been going through sort of a battle and a transition, and we come home, we find our balance. The Six of Pentacles is all about balance and having enough, so people learn to share and help one another. And a six is, it's a very positive, it is a very positive year. It has to do with success and manifesting things, so
See, I told you
always
guys.
good.
Charity had way better protections for you than I did.
Well, I think it's all connected. It's just like you were
Yeah.
saying that the
Mm-hmm.
star comes after the tower. I think a lot of the shortages and stuff right now is because people couldn't work for a while, and then
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people realize they didn't want to work and they're going different
Yeah.
directions, and now nobody's making this stuff. Like,
Yes. And I don't think that people realized just how many baby boomers there were
oh my
until they
god.
all started retiring now.
Yeah. It's true.
You
Yeah,
know?
that was my take on all of this. Like
It's a real thing.
Frost and
we
I
know
looked up
like
the number.
I've
It
had
was
so many
unbelievable how many people
I've had so
retired.
many people tell
Oh
me
my
like, oh,
gosh.
like there's a narrative that people aren't working because they don't want to
It's all
work.
those
You know,
young
it's like
people don't
there's
want to work.
nobody there's
Yeah, I
no
don't think it's necessarily they don't want to work. It's just a lot of things have changed. Like I
Yes,
lost
there's
my job and
nobody.
then I found a way to live without one and
Yeah,
do
exactly.
something else.
there's
Yeah,
nobody who has bills to pay that's choosing to stay poor for the most part. I mean, people are out working, and like it's in our community. It is like in almost all other communities, I'm sure. I mean, there's fast food restaurants and stuff paying $15 an hour.
Hmm.
So I mean, if you want to work, there's opportunities for
Oh,
you.
there's a lot of work. Yeah.
So I think that it's the from the time I was a kid, and I'm sure for you the same way because we're all roughly in the same generation here. We were told that when the baby boomers retired, there was going to be shortages of
I
work and all
never
that.
thought about that.
they weren't
And
kidding.
COVID forced a lot of baby boomers
Out.
into
Yeah.
retirement. Baby boomers who
Yeah.
weren't who maybe were at retirement age, but they didn't want to retire yet. They wanted to make more money. They were like, "Screw it! I'm not dealing with this mess. I'm going to go ahead and retire."
Oh my
And yeah,
gosh.
I looked it up, and there's some crazy number of the millions, like tens of millions of boomers who have retired just in
God.
the last
Yeah,
year.
and it's no wonder I can't get Capri Suns at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Right? Seriously. I never thought about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But my
Wow.
dad retired, and her
My
dad had
dad retired.
retired,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
like
my parents did too.
I just know all these
And they
boomers
hadn't
who
been
retired.
planning, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salty Frog
Yeah.
said work has been difficult because of it. So understaffed
yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah.
everywhere is. That's why
Everywhere.
I had to leave Starbucks. I was going crazy. It was like three people doing 10 people's work. Like,
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Not
and
worth it.
I don't think the understaffed thing is going anywhere either
No.
because we're just at a point where I think people who can work are working for the
Yeah.
most part.
yeah.
I think, there's maybe not as many people in the business. There's so many people working, virtually and stuff now. But
Like
yeah,
Charity said too, though, like the pandemic made people realize that maybe what they were doing wasn't really what they wanted to do,
hmm
That's what
and
happened to me.
they
for
got
sure.
a chance to change.
Yeah.
It gave them a chance to change.
It
Yeah.
it forced a change for me that I've been wanting for a long time, but was never going to take the leap out of a secure job into
You
doing
mean
a tarot for a living. But then I
Yeah.
lost the job.
Hmm.
Like,
Yep.
well?
And I'm sure
I
that's
think
happened too.
this Twitch channel is probably proof of that. So
right.
It's happened
yeah,
to a lot of people. The
yeah.
same thing. Yep. So, Frosty, you were, before we started, you had mentioned that you wanted to ask Charity about the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, so yeah, we talked a little bit off air before we came in tonight. So I'm a little bit familiar with that. We were in the age of Pisces, and that there was this transition to Aquarius, which I've heard as being, like a more possible better era. And I've heard the comparisons, especially with like Christianity, with
Yeah.
Christianity having the symbol of the fish and all that kind of stuff. My question, I guess you can just go over that in general, but my question on the end of that, if you know, is there an exact time when we're supposed to transition?
Oh.
Because I've been hearing about this ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a couple different transitions that are specifically happening. There's a couple things that are shifting into Aquarius out of Pisces. I think the Pisces one was like 800, like there was a really big one that was like hundreds of years. And that transition is actually taking like 30, 40, 50 years. Like it's been happening since the 60s and it will be happening into like 2030, 2040. Like it's a long transition. But there's another transition like out of Capricorn into Aquarius that's happening at a similar time. And I think that that's all happening like end of 2020, into 2021, 2022, um, where people stop relying so much on things of the earth and digging into the earth and taking things from the earth and start using a lot of technology, communication, and things like that. So there's a couple different things happening with the age of Aquarius, but I don't know that there's an exact date. I feel like a lot of the things we're meant to switch, though, are switching sort of like October this year. I'll have to look up the dates though, because it's a shift that's been going on for a while.
Yeah, the whole change from Pisces to Aquarius um, was really confusing to me too. And it's like nobody ever had like a really good answer on the
Yeah.
timeline, but I guess it's just because it does take so long.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
big shift. And it's
Mhm.
kind of odd to me because Pisces comes after Aquarius, right? In the
Yes.
chart.
Mhm.
But for some reason this age is going like backwards.
It's like
Like we're
I
going from Pisces to Aquarius. It's
I
kind of
read a
interesting.
this book by Graham Norton, and what was it called, Jeremy? The book that I read.
Well, he has a few stories.
The one that I read. It's like it's about Egyptians and Mayas and how they're connected, and he thinks there's an ancient civilization that predates all the stuff we know of that was more advanced. But
I
anyway,
believe it.
um,
We should do a study on that though. I've studied it some.
that book is really interesting, and he explains in it the whole shift of the ages, and it has to do with where the Earth is positioned, and where.
It's Graham Hancock, by
Oh,
the way.
Hancock, yeah, Norton is not
Graham
the right.
Norton is a British author,
Yeah,
yes.
Graham Hancock. Sorry. Um, it has to do with where the Earth is positioned in the sky, and that turns like a wheel. You know, like the the constellations turn like a wheel.
Mhm.
So it takes that long. It's like, you know,
Well,
800 to 1,000 years or 2,000
yeah,
years or some craziness for
yeah.
us to get through, for us to move through the constellation where it's like has to do with something about like where it rises up in the sky or something. I can't remember all the details. I'm not good with memory and stuff like that. But the constellations move in a wheel. So, you know, for whatever reason, it's backwards for us the way we're
Yeah,
moving.
for
Yeah.
that age. And
Mhm.
it's a huge age. So,
Mhm.
It is the fingerprints of the gods, the evidence of
Fingerprints of the
Earth's
Gods. Yep.
lost civilizations.
It's a massive book with a lot of information in it. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, Graham Hancock is interesting. If you haven't heard of Graham Hancock before, he's someone you should definitely check out if you have an interest in like his whole thing is looking into basically believing that or trying to find evidence of ancient lost civilizations that were advanced. Like he believes that there were advanced civilizations that
Hmm.
existed that were wiped out, and that so
And
we just kind of as the
history,
human race end up keep doing this over
like
and over again.
archaeology and history that doesn't fit into our narrative.
yeah,
And what does
there
that
is.
mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Really interesting stuff.
They find lots of interesting, obviously nothing that's changed the history books, but there is a lot of, evidence that they have to support it. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Except Giant of the Frost would argue with me about everything when I would share it with him
well,
from the book.
I am a trained historian, so
But
I'm willing to take certain, I'm willing
I would
to
like to
look at things,
also
but I just can't take them without,
I'd also like to remind him that he's the one who bought me the book.
I did.
Anyway, why don't we go ahead and do let's do another predictions reading.
Anyway,
Anyway, moving along. Let's do another tarot tag team reading here. Little Wing, you're still with us, right? Let's do one for Little Wing this time since she was so excited about it. Prediction reading for Little Wing. Lil Wang. I think I'm just hot. It wasn't Salty Frog's fault that my hands were sticky. My hands are still
yeah,
sweaty. I can't blame it on the frog anymore, Salty.
the Santa hat.
It's probably the Santa hat that's making me hot.
Yeah, I had to take mine off. It's warm in here.
All right.
Better than being cold, though, I guess.
Mhm. All right, Little Wing, Little Wing. Next year, 2022. Move. All right, I need one more. You're going to share a picture in Discord. Oh, something fell out. Okay. Ooh, interesting. All right, Charity, what did you get?
I got the Strength card, the Temperance card, the Page of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. So a couple major arcanas. Is there some sort of news or any information or something that you've been waiting on, like wanting to hear? Because I feel like you're going to get some good news. Oh,
I think he closed his camera. I don't
okay,
know
yeah, because it just disappeared on
if
mine.
there was a
Yeah, I'm
small
going AFK for 1 second.
if there was a small child that came in, or I don't know what happened. I also got some swords. I got the 10 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, and the 2 of Wands, which is a card that she got before when she was wanting to know if she was going to buy a house. And she did buy the house, and it's the
Oh,
same card.
wow.
So 4 of Swords and 10 of Swords. Will you enlighten us about those, Charity?
So the Ten of Swords, it seems kind of bleak, but it's the end of a painful or challenging cycle or an old way of thought. If there's something that's been stressing you out or something that's just been a lot to deal with, you are going to be finalizing and ending that. With the Four of Swords, that is taking time out to rest and heal and just recognizing that you don't have to go, 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 go all the time. Like sometimes you need to take a little time for you and chill. And with the Two of Wands, that's like a new venture. So you could have like a big change, but it's a very positive change. Like something that's been stressful should be released, and something that's positive and exciting should be coming towards you.
So she said she thought the 10 of Swords was bad. So I don't think that what she said was bad at all. I think
People
she's
think that it's
what
not.
I understood from what she said is that it seemed to me like you were going to be given an opportunity to stop worrying all the time and giving yourself so much overthinking so you can
Yeah.
have a time to rest and not be going all the time. She's always thinking she has to do so much.
Yeah, yeah. It might be time to just relax and rest. But no, the Ten of Swords is actually an end of a painful cycle when the hard part is over and the sun begins to shine again.
There
So,
you
and this is
go.
something
See?
I've studied very thoroughly. People see it and the picture is so bleak that they're like, "Oh, this is terrible." It's the end of the worst. The worst is over, a new day dawns.
Kind of like
So,
getting the tower, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar. But it has a lot to do with thoughts. So it's not an actual physical thing. It's an end of stressful thoughts. So you might have a new opportunity or something that's interesting to do with the Two of Wands that takes your mind off things that are stressing you out.
Yes, because she
So
definitely stresses herself out
Mhm.
mentally.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull a clarifier with my Zen cards. Let's see what we got this time. Why did Little Wing get all these cards?
Real quick.
Swords and
So
Wands.
for that one, is there a bad card? Is there a card that you kind of
Cards that
get a
I
bad
don't
reaction to
love.
when you
Um
one push somebody?
the oh, the five of wands might mean you're going to have some arguments. The five, it just depends upon the place you're in. The five of swords can also mean like unnecessarily going around in circles in your mind and overthinking and stress and things like that. And the five pentacles is like when you feel like everything sucks and you're out on your own. So there are definitely cards, but they're all transitional and they're
Mm-hmm.
always leading you to the next place. It's almost like the dark before the dawn kind of thing, because the cards that come right after them are always positive. So it's more like a
Mm,
process. I don't think there's anything that's like, okay, this is bad, this is what's going to happen. We're always evolving, we're always changing.
mm,
Yeah, like
very good.
people, as soon as the devil card
Yeah,
comes out,
transition.
people freak out.
Yeah.
People do freak out with
Yeah.
that card, and I feel like it just depends upon what's around it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when it comes in, yeah, you have maybe some bad habits, addictive behaviors, or some toxic people in your life that you need to be aware of and release, but it depends upon what's around it.
My
because sometimes it can mean being really intensely, obsessively passionate about something that you really want to do,
oh
like,
yeah,
so
well that's not a bad thing.
yeah. It can be obsession as well, but sometimes obsession can be good if it's in the right direction. So depends upon what
Yes,
it's around it.
yeah. My clarifying card is interesting. It's the Lovers.
I saw the lovers when I was shuffling. I almost pulled it out because it popped right out.
There it
That's cool.
is. The
Wow.
Lovers. So I guess for me, I think that if this has to be your clarifier of why you got these other cards and how it can be interpreted together, is that I think, like pretty much everything else, love is the answer.
Ooh, yeah.
Like you have to love yourself. You have to give yourself more love to be accepting of yourself. And when you're more open and accepting of yourself, then love from others comes more easily. And when you're having love for yourself and being accepting of love from other people, it's way easier to not have all those anxious, overthinking thoughts. How do you feel about that, Charity?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I like the lovers card too because it has to do with decisions and like guidance, and it has like the angel in it. And just knowing you're never alone, you're never on your own. Sometimes you might be thinking a lot and thinking you have to make all these decisions by yourself, but you always have like higher guidance, and blending with that and knowing it's always leading you to your best thing, that can be a really great way to get out of your head and into your heart space, knowing that you are guided and protected and that you are loved. So
So write that down. Write it down, little Wang. All right. Awesome. Well, that's cool. I think that was a pretty good one for her, too. All
yeah.
right. Wow.
So real
That's a
quickly,
great reminder.
we went over our predictions, and I just wanted to see if anybody in chat has any predictions for
Yes.
2022.
Oh yeah.
Feel free to put your predictions in chat, and I will put those into my document as well. And I'll try not to lose it in the upcoming year. And we'll go over this 1 year henceforth.
Yes.
So mine is that come April things cheer up a little. So let's see if that happens.
Yeah.
People get a little luckier, a little happier, and things start to flow.
Mine was
Yeah,
sadness
I
and
have very
destruction.
depressing stuff going
Sadness and
on.
destruction.
Storms and
Things we
shortages,
can think
Yeah.
of.
and plagues and COVID. I have it.
Well, there was like this crazy, and I don't know what it was. There was this huge astrological thing that happened in 2020 and that hadn't happened since literally the plague. It was like some sort of Pluto summer. I should look it up. It'd be fun. But it had been 320 something years since that had happened. And so a lot of people were really freaked out about what might come, but that is behind us. So I'm
Good.
hoping, hopeful.
Sylvie said she was having a hard time hearing. So, Sylvie, I turned it up. Maybe you can hear it
Oh,
better.
me. Yep.
Yeah. Frostshine has a
Giant of the
hard
Frost. Hopefully,
has a hard a bad habit of not leaning into his microphone when he
into my
talks.
microphone. Yeah, I'll try to do better.
And I have no technology, so I'm sorry.
He just leans away from it and then you can't hear him very well. So, does anybody in the chat have any predictions for next year? Let's add them to the list. Tell us your predictions. Oh, I smacked the table. The screen went weird. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, I'm just making the list, Sylvie. So I'm
Oh,
making a list
sorry,
of all the
Sylvie.
predictions on the show.
We don't
So
have a.
this time next year we'll
Yeah.
go over all the predictions, and we can see what was right.
I gotta take this hat off.
Just for fun, and then this time next year we'll go over the predictions and we'll make new predictions for 2023.
Um, I will be back sometime within the next week or so to do my regular reading night, but it will not be Friday because that is Christmas Eve. There we go. I have a
Yeah,
different Santa hat now.
that one
Stick
looks
it
a
up
little
on the
cooler.
beard. Can't really see it though. Yep. Nope. Um, so I'll just have to. It'll just be a surprise reading night because I can't plan it out. I don't know. I don't know when it'll be. Maybe Sunday or something.
Maybe Sunday might be a good one.
That
Yeah.
sounds promising, but I can't. But I can't
Cute.
make any promises. Strange
Strange
dreams.
dreams.
More surveillance. Ooh, what do you mean, Salty Frog? More surveillance. Like the governments and the companies watching us. My my aunt just posted on Facebook this morning that she was like making some soup or something, and while she was doing it, she just told her TV to play some music, and somehow it played like all of her favorite music, and she was like, "I'm not even freaked out about it anymore."
Yeah,
Like,
I've
yeah,
had some instances here recently where I've not web searched for anything. I've just talked to somebody about something, and then I've had advertisements pop up about what I
there's
talked
been
about.
times I thought
So
about it and I didn't say it out loud, and there was an ad for it.
I was walking through a store and I picked up like this sunblock. I looked at it. I read a little bit about it. I didn't want it. I put it back on the shelf. I went home. It was on Facebook advertisement. I'm
Yeah,
like, I didn't say it. I didn't do anything. I'm like, are they scanning the stuff
I
that we're
don't
holding in our
know.
hand at the
It's
store?
got to be
I don't have
something.
any apps like that. I don't shop with my phone.
Yeah. Well,
I was looking at it like, whoa,
one of our
not okay.
friends one of our friends is really like kind of freaked out about stuff like that, and he doesn't even pay for stuff with like a debit card. Like he just uses cash. And he went into a store to buy a bottle of juice, and he paid with cash. And I don't even know, I can't even remember what he said about his phone, but there was a freaking ad for it
he got like
on.
an email or
He got an
something.
email. It was an
Yeah.
email about the juice, and he didn't
Oh
buy
my
it with a card. He paid cash. It's like, how is this happening? Yeah,
our phones scanning barcodes or something. Like
Yeah.
what the
it's
heck?
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Salty Frog said maybe drones, etc. Yeah. I mean, they can make tiny little itty bitty ones that are like the size of a bug. You wouldn't even know they're there. That have a chip in our brains. Well, we have another guest that can tell you all about that. Maybe we'll get him on here
Mm.
eventually.
Yeah, I have a guest who wants to come on who has that says that he was had a chip implanted into his brain by the U.S. military, and he has a lot of
Evidence to back it up.
doctor's notes and evidence and CAT scan results and everything to prove it.
Oh my god.
But we're waiting for the future to get him on here. So down the road.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Salty Frog said, "In my dream, I was the only person that noticed or was even outraged about it. Birds are real, though. Yes, I agree. Birds are real. I don't know
Yeah.
who started that one. Sylvie, we don't have a reading list tonight. We were just doing a couple readings for fun, but I'll be back maybe Sunday for my regular reading night.
Yeah. So, and just we didn't go over this. This is only like our third time. So this night when we do the witching hour, it's like a different show than what Medium
Mm-hmm.
Jenny Lee does on Fridays.
Yeah.
This is more of like our uh like kind of inspired by old long form talk radio or I guess modern day podcast kinds of things where we get together and have guests on and talk about topics, anything dealing with the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
But since our guest tonight is Charity we decided to from Aquarius Rising, we decided to do a couple readings tonight. So
Yeah. We wanted to see how interesting it would be for us to do them together too, which I think was kind of fun.
That was fun.
All right, my dears. Well, I think it's about that time to wrap it up. We've been on for about an hour and a half. I hope everyone enjoyed our witching hours tonight. If you have any
yes,
suggestions for the next show, let us know.
yeah. If anybody knows, like, a guest they would like to see on here, or a topic that they would like to see brought up on here, anything with the paranormal, we're willing to deal with.
Yeah. Or
And we're always
I
looking for guests.
I know a lot of you guys are a bunch of weirdos too. Maybe you want to be a
Mhm.
guest. Are you brave enough
Yeah,
to be a guest?
we've been looking at some things dealing with alien abductions lately. So
Yeah, that could be
if
interesting.
you or you know someone who's been abducted by aliens, just want to come on here and
Aliens.
talk.
We need an alien one for sure.
Mm.
All right.
Um, everybody have a Merry Christmas,
Yeah, Merry
or a
Christmas.
Happy Winter Solstice, or
Yule.
Yuletide,
I think Hanukkah's
whatever you
over, but
celebrate during
if
this
you
time of the
were
year.
was a Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a couple weeks ago.
And New Year's, happy New Year.
Happy New Year's. Yeah, enjoy these next few days the best you can. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see Medium Jenny Lee back on here soon.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Charity, for
Oh,
coming.
thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
I'm so glad you came back and joined us for another night of the witching
Yep.
hours.
Yes.
Woo. All right. Good night, everybody. Bye bye.